Welcome to Great Day Live, everybody. Whew, what a show. I can't wait. After 7 years at the helm of the Louisville Urban League, Sadiqa Reynolds is stepping down as the president. You know, she announced a little earlier this year that she would step into a new role as the head of an organization in New York City. And there has just been this, I don't know, you've seen it and you've heard it, this overwhelming chorus. People wishing her well from all across the community. We just had to sit down with Sadiqa and get her on the show. When you walked in today, immediately she said, well, how much time do we have?
Yes.
Because I got to get into everything.
Yes.
Everything. You can. You can.
Excited.
I mean, let me start with first. I mean, Eric King just came in here to say he was just shocked. People were shocked when you made that announcement. And I think for me, I was like, but no, right? And there was that too, that people were just like, we can't lose you. And we're not, I mean, we're going to get into that, but what did you think when people responded to you saying, I got to move on to something else?
I was overwhelmed and I was second guessing myself. Why would I leave people who love me so much? I could not believe. There were so many days that I honestly felt like I was living through my funeral. And I've always felt like that in this job. There's been a lot of, because when people are so kind, I think so many people live their whole lives and never hear people say how they really feel about them. They don't necessarily get to hear people say they love them. They don't necessarily get to hear people say thank you. And I've heard it so often in this job. But then when I announced that I was leaving, it was overwhelming. Yeah. The articles and the Courier Journal, Mark Murphy, Forum. Ricky Jones. I mean, it was unbelievable. And so now my board, they didn't necessarily process it very well in the beginning. They were very, you know, it's emotional. It's emotional for all. I was crying when I told them I was leaving, and it was. I second guessed myself. I really did. I really did.
For you, was that just a moment where you thought it's time to do something different? Like, take me inside that decision.
I have to tell you, some things had happened, you know. I don't know if people realize, like, I was walking my dog and I was threatened with arrest, and there were a lot of good has happened while I've been in Louisville, but also sometimes I felt like I don't know how much more I can do, and maybe this city, it's time for me to pass the baton. I think I've done a lot with the help of so many. You know, it's been a wonderful ride. And I also had this great opportunity to go and work for this organization in New York and to have a different platform where really, while the organization is in New York, the work is all over the country and really all over the globe. And I think that is something that excites me because it's a little less local, a lot less local. And I started in this community as a public defender, you know, so everybody still has my number. My phone number has been the same since 1998. So that means police, that means those who are accused, that means everybody in community who might need something, that means everybody. And I have for a long time been the go-to person for crisis, and I love that people trust me, you know, with things. And I also, it's exhausting. And I have 2 children, you know, I've got a 12th grader and a 10th grader. I'm a mother first. It's
hard for them too.
It's hard. And living through COVID and living through, you know, building a $53 million sports complex during COVID and amidst the civil unrest, and having people say to me, what is the Urban League president doing out protesting? That is not what the Urban League does, you know, and I've been really criticized. I mean, I've taken my hits, and it's fine. I'm stronger because of it, and still the organization went on. But
we did we did one of our takeover shows, and I was with a number of women in leadership. Yeah. And I mentioned to them, I'm so excited to have you on the show. And immediately, so many of them said, I wish you'd run for office. Right? Like, women identify with you because you're vulnerable, you step out there, and you just seem unafraid. And I think for many of us, it's like, I see you, I'm thinking, I wish I could be more like that. Wow. Right? Like, and I think, did you hear that too, where people are like, Sadiqa, run for office, run for more. We want more for you, where it's almost seemed like during that time of COVID and civil unrest, you were a voice that said, you know what, I'm not going to go along with what everybody's saying. Like, this is wrong.
Yeah.
And I think it was very refreshing for people to hear.
Well,
for me as a woman looking at that, but did that ever cross your mind? Should I run for office?
Yes.
Yeah.
It did. I mean, too many people were saying it for me not to think about it seriously. As you know, I've been a district court judge. I was appointed, and then I had to run to keep the seat. I lost the election. I do not like campaigning. If Mayor Fisher would resign today and they want me to finish his term out, be happy to do that. But I don't want to run for office. I want the jobs, all of them. I want to be in charge of the world. It's the truth. I want to say this. If somebody wants to put me in the position, but if I have to run to keep it, because I can't BS. Like, I'm not going to play the games. I'm not going to do the political thing. I don't care about Republicans.
People always say about all the fundraising that goes into it, that you feel like you kind of sacrifice what you believe in order, you've got to fund it.
It's not the fundraising, right?
No.
Because I clearly can fundraise even from people who don't like me, because I've done that, right? I've raised $100 million in this city, and I'm pretty sure everybody doesn't love me. So I know how to raise money. That's not the issue. It's really the campaigning. It's being out and this idea of making promises. And, listen, we have to do what is best for the Commonwealth of Kentucky. We have to do what's best for Louisville. We have to do what's best for this country. I am so impressed, for example, by the Department of Justice right now. This is not about politics. It is about holding people accountable who threaten our very democracy. I am in love with that. I think it is amazing. I thank God for Merrick Garland. And I also want people to understand that while they may not be excited about everything that Biden does, it was his decision to appoint this attorney general that moved us forward in the Breonna Taylor case. It is him that is going to push us forward as we look at what happens for folks who, went to the Capitol on January 6th. Those are the things that we have to fight for.
Right.
And so I love that stuff, but I don't want to do the campaigning to get there. Like, I love people. And some days I don't. Like, some days I just want to be alone. I just want to be introverted, and people cannot imagine that I could ever be, that I'm an introverted person.
Because you're involved in so much, because you're out there so much. I mean, just even some of your accomplishments. First woman to be president in the league's 100-year history, 101 years. First African-American woman to clerk for the Kentucky Supreme Court. Creating the Urban Sports and Learning Complex. That fundraising effort.
My name is Sadiqa
right? That
Reynolds.
was something that I remember every business person at the time saying, yes, we have to get behind that. Did that surprise you that there was that much collective community support for this idea?
Claudia, it didn't surprise me, but your memory is off. Everybody wasn't for it. There were people who said, no, don't do it, but I was amazed. Here's the thing that I say when I'm on that space. A $53 million state-of-the-art sports and learning complex, and we're $6 million away from being completely debt-free at that facility, right?
Yeah.
Which is huge, because it will sustain itself. When I am standing there, I say to our community and to everybody, this is a place where hope lives. This is where you can never have fights. This is a place where you have to love everybody, because black people and white people, rich people and poor people, corporations and private individuals came together to build this space. This space is holy. It is holy for me. And so I am so proud of Louisville for stepping up and for doing what we needed to do to get that done, for cleaning up that contaminated land. But I say to the corporations that haven't given a penny, have given nothing, you need to step up and pay. You need to help support this facility in the West End, this economic engine.
Well, I'm so happy to have you on. They're giving me the rap. You know that they are.
I don't want to rap. We do not want to. We haven't even talked
about Brittany.
Wait a minute. We didn't talk about Brittany Griner needs to come home. We didn't talk about Daniel Cameron.
No.
Daniel Cameron is
What
on
is
the.
next? Just before we go, with that, with the indictments of the four LMPD officers, what is next? Where do you?
Listen,
what needs to happen
first of all, we have to understand why our Attorney General decided to limit his investigation. We must understand the reason for that. If the woman who had been killed looked like you, if it had been Mitch McConnell's child or somebody he liked, God forbid, would he have limited his investigation? Would it have mattered to him what the warrant looked like?
Right.
I want to know about that. I am not going to let that go. Nobody should. I hope the FBI is looking at it, although I don't even know who has the authority. Somebody has to. This is America. We need to hold our country and our leaders accountable.
Well, everybody should know you're not going anywhere. You're still going to have a foot in Louisville, and we're going to be hearing from you more and more.
A heart in Louisville, Claudia.
Thank
I'm going to
you.
have my
Please
heart
don't.
in Louisville.
I mean,
Absolutely.
we need your voice.
Absolutely. I'll be
And that's
here.
why I'm so happy we had you on today.
I'm happy too, but I can't believe they're rapping me. So
you know, we should
offensive.
continue. We need to take it
This
on.
is horrible.
We need to continue this. Like, where else can we take this?
I don't know. We need to go somewhere. We need to do something. This cannot end.
What we're going to do now is we're going to take a quick break here, and we're going to be joined by the Good Morning.